Hi, and welcome to Discovering Henry, where we make exciting discoveries right in your own backyard. Now, Henry County is famous for many things, from the Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton to famous Civil War battles fought right here in the county. But lately, it's been finding a new following a little on the stranger side of popularity, due to a group dedicated to the science of recording evidence of life after death. The McDonough Square has been reported by many to be the epicenter of strange and paranormal activity. Businesses and homes on and around the square have shared stories with us of ghostly encounters, strange happenings, and chilling sounds echoing throughout the night. One such building is the Clay Plaza, overlooking the square. An old movie theater with a reputation of creaking footsteps and ghostly voices. A location ripe for the investigation by none other than the Henry County Ghost Hunters. Discovering Henry was allowed to follow the investigators into the building and experience firsthand the art and science of ghost hunting.
All right, Dan. Story.
This is where you come in. You got your tickets here. Concession stand ran along here, all the way across. This is where the seats were.
Movie theaters were as popular back in the 30s and 40s as they are today. A place where anyone could go to escape the real world for a few hours and enjoy the classics of the day, or see what was happening around the world right there in their own hometown. McDonough was no different. America was entering into the Second World War when Ernest Paris Clay decided to put down roots in McDonough and build a movie theater on the square. However, it wasn't completely of his own accord. A tragedy and a sense of duty was in the forefront of this decision.
Clay Plaza's got a great history to it. The story behind the Clay Plaza is that a gentleman by the name of E.P. Clay and his family were here in McDonough. His job required him to do a lot of traveling. He was out of town a lot.
He had a road show, a tent road show, and he'd go to small towns and he would film the locals, and then he would pitch a tent in an empty lot somewhere and advertise to come see yourself in the movies the next week. So anyway, he came through McDonough in 1941, and my mother, Martha Ann Clay, was 6 years old and time for her to go to school. And her mother, my grandmother, Catherine, decided that McDonough was the place that she wanted to raise her daughter.
But for E.P. Clay, McDonough was just a small rural town offering nothing to quench his wandering, energetic spirit. His passion for filmmaking, meeting new people, and exploring new towns was stronger than his desire to settle down. His wife, Catherine, was adamant about giving their daughter a stable home and pleaded with her husband to consider making a life here. Refusing to do so, E.P. Clay decided to travel on without his wife and daughter to continue to do what he knew best, making movies.
You know, he loved her, but he had that roadshow thing in his blood, and so he continued to travel, and our grandmother, Catherine, opened a little dance studio.
That dance studio provided the means for Catherine to buy a small piece of property and build a home for her and her daughter. With hard work and determination, at last her dream home was completed, and Catherine and Martha Ann were solid members of the McDonough community. A day after they moved into the new house, tragedy struck when Catherine was scheduled for minor surgery at the Griffin Hospital and died at the age of 36. With a mother deceased and a father traveling, young Martha Ann was alone with no means of support. It was then that E.P. Clay decided it would be best for his daughter if he moved to McDonough permanently. Back in McDonough, perusing his love of movies, Ernest Paris Clay began construction of Henry County's very first movie theater, a building that would become what we know today as the Clay Plaza.
Initially, it was just a stable. It was what they call a one storefront, and it was on the corner of where the building still is standing. And down later, he added another storefront and made it twice as wide as it is now.
Just an unbelievable location. The size is very, very large. There are lots of several different layers to the property and plenty to investigate. There's still many things in the building itself that you can still see the remnants of the movie theater.
But it was a really cool place to live, and every time, you know, we would have spend the night company, they could always go to the movies for free and have the homemade ice cream that my grandfather Clay made every night, and the popcorn, the theater, and even our home always smelled, just had the aroma of that fresh popcorn. And we had an inside stairwell that would go from the house that we lived in up into the theater itself.
Several locations in this building that were very, very odd. Just give you the heebie-jeebies, if you will. There's a staircase that actually leads down to an exterior door. And in this location, when the doors are closed, it is pitch black.
And if you've ever been inside a theater when there's no lights on at all, you can literally put your hand right in front of your face and not be able to see it. Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I'm all over this, dude. It's cold too.
Well, I do remember my grandfather was very much into hypnotism and Ouija boards, but I know that he had made a pact with my mother that after he passed away, if there was any way that he could ever contact her, that he would. And she was all about it too, you know, she just thought that sounded really intriguing. But a few weeks after he had died, she was walking through the theater itself one day. And as she was walking down the aisle, because she knew it so well, she didn't have to turn any lights on, she said it came over her. She said she felt him. She said she could smell, you know, his familiar smell, his aftershave, and she knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was with her.
Over the years since then, there have been others who have experienced the presence of someone lightly brushing against them as they stood in the old movie theater, or strange sounds coming from upstairs in what was once the projection room. Could this still be E.P. Clay keeping a watchful eye on his domain? Is it possible that because of his fascination with the paranormal, Mr. Clay is keeping the pact with his daughter to let everyone know he's still around?
The Clay Plaza now is a series of different companies, different storefronts. So there's several different proprietors that are in there now, running their separate businesses. And one of the business owners would work there late at night and would hear footsteps right outside the windows of his location.
But that's the thing that everybody consistently reports is the footsteps, the clunky footsteps, especially going up and down the hallway.
With the history of the building and the reports of ghostly encounters, the Henry County Ghost Hunters set forth with their investigators to record any evidence of paranormal activity. Hoping to capture any EVP recordings, Andy Roberts explored the main floor where Martha Ann Clay first sensed her father's ghostly presence.
Mr. Clay? We understand that you like to walk up and down these halls. Come towards me now. I've got a recording device that you can talk into, and I may not be able to hear you now, but I'll be able to hear you when I get back. Is there anything you'd like to tell me, please? There are several different types of hauntings. I would venture to say that one of the types of hauntings is known as a residual energy haunting, which is basically where energy is built into the walls themselves of certain things that, if you will, replay. It's almost a rewind and play scenario where it's just an energy source that continues to do the same thing over and over again. When you hear footsteps at certain intervals that happen nightly, I would say that that would be a residual type of energy, a residual haunting.
Now when we come back, the Henry County ghost hunters experience for themselves something that people have claimed to be experiencing for years. We'll be right back.